how do you have everything and in the midst of all of it, not after it's over, in the midst of all of it, throw it away like that? How does that happen?
So real quick, I grew up in Compton, California.
That's right.
Nothing around me changed other than everything I did for myself, college and going to the pros. My friends still live in Compton and Long Beach, California. They still gangbang, sell drugs, try to be pimps. That didn't leave me. When I was playing for the Giants winning Super Bowls, those guys were still celebrating with me as well. When I went home, my hometowns were giving me celebration. So what do you mean, how do you wash that away? You can't. It doesn't leave you. That's just because you got the money in the family, you're Tom Brady and you're going the Patriot way, that doesn't mean that your life and everything else has changed. You don't just wipe everything clean before. It's the hardest thing to do.
No, but I'm saying, how did you get through all of that? And Aaron Hernandez found himself stuck in it.
Making
That's
the
what
right
I'm asking.
choices without totally disassociating yourself.
So there's a bigger cause, right? There's something. When you start having kids, start having a family, have a wife, you sit there and say, well, I can't make these decisions anymore. I can't bring this around my family anymore. You know how many friends I lost because I had to start cutting those ties?
Antonio.
That's very difficult.
Go ahead, Max.
Antonio, I think in Aaron Hernandez, I understand your point generally. I don't know if it applies in this case so much, and this is what I mean by that. It's not as though Aaron Hernandez was a low-paid guy and he still had some money in the streets to make ends meet or to keep up with the Joneses. That wasn't the case. It's not as though it was a crime of passion where a spur of the moment he made a very bad decision and it was an isolated incident or even an impulse control problem. It wasn't as though it was self-defense. He got into some stuff and didn't know what to do and people were coming after him. This was, repeated, premeditated, over what sounds like something that doesn't rise to the level of murder, and yet that's what he committed several times. Now, it is curious. I think the entire situation is curious. I think it's human nature to question, especially not just because the former agent is saying, no way did he do this, but he seemed so happy, Aaron Hernandez did, 5 days ago, that he was acquitted of other charges that weren't going to lessen his sentence. Not like he's going to get out any sooner. He's going to spend the rest of his life in jail, yet he was celebrating it. So why did someone who celebrates that, who has a 4-year-old daughter, suddenly show up hanged in a jail cell? I think there are going to be questions about that. It would be interesting to see what an investigation yields. But to your point, Antonio, I don't think this stuff happened to Aaron Hernandez. Aaron Hernandez was the catalyst for it. He's the guy who made it happen. And again, not a crime of passion, not money in the streets, not someone coming after him. Premeditated, repeated over stuff that should not have resulted in murder.
We don't know about if people were coming after him or certain things like that. We don't know all his personal...
This is what I'll say. For every athlete, money and fame magnifies what you really want to be, right? If he wanted to be a thug, the money and fame magnified that. He felt that power, and that sense of invincibility, that it doesn't matter what I do, nothing's going to stop me. And that's where I say the guys around you or things that happen in your life, something has to start changing. Right? If your friends are not changing, then it has to be family members, right? It has to be a brother. It has to be somebody that's significant in your life. Well, in this case, it didn't sound like nobody ever stepped up to the plate. And I'm not saying it's their fault. I'm just saying maybe he didn't have that guidance, and that's what it sounds like.